Good morning, everybody. It's 9:30 a.m. here in the UK, 20th of September, and something completely new for you again this week, bringing you a whole load of new content this week. And this one is all about Bitcoin Watch. I'm going to be digging into those charts, seeing where the price might be heading next. Now, I'm going to steer pretty clear of the fundamentals here. There's enough liquidity in this market to trade it, technically. So like I said, I'm going to focus more on the charts and some variables that I think would be of importance around the charts for, when I'm trading Bitcoin, what I take into consideration. So with that, let's get straight into it. And we've got this morning's action. What's been going on first up today? Well, not a lot overnight, a little increase in the price up to that pivot point, 27,300. Saw a bit of a pullback this morning and then pushing back to around, 27,128. I'm using BTC USDT here as the price feed. So, yeah, it's been let's call it a flattish morning, nothing too exciting or dramatic going on there. Now, what does the fear and greed index say for the market as a whole? Well, here we can see pretty neutral, pretty flat, not very exciting, hasn't changed much. That's a nice little indicator on market sentiment there. Website alternative.me if you want to check that out. This is an interesting chart I pulled up, trading volume. And you can see we are now at, pretty much the lows in terms of trading volume of Bitcoin. Unsurprisingly, you can see all that volume going when the price was at those record highs, but it's been falling and falling and falling. The asset's only, about 500 billion market cap. So, half the size of some of those big tech stocks that we're seeing at the moment. So it's not a huge market, but a very popular market. But the volume there has been, decreasing quite heavily. Another factor that many people don't realize is despite, you'd probably think from an outside view, Bitcoin hasn't been doing all that well this year, but put it into context against other markets. Now, here we've got against other futures contracts. Now, Bitcoin price is Bitcoin price, and the Bitcoin micro on the CME reflects the actual price, but it allows you to then, like I say, compare against other markets. You see it's right up the top there, 65% year-to-date performance upside there. Only orange juice better at 84%, sugar just under it. Some of these big stock markets, NASDAQ 35%, it's not done too bad at all, really. There we got Ethereum there, the Ethereum micro up 39% nearly. So it's still doing pretty well as a tradable asset. Now, it is a risk-on type asset, and it is highly correlated to other markets. So it's sort of a lagger in that respect, view, because people are going to put their money first into the other assets before sinking it into more riskier assets like cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin. But as you can see here, put a chart together, we've got the blue line, which is the NASDAQ 100, and we've got the orange line there, which is Bitcoin, and the red line below that is the correlation between the two. And as you can see, they are pretty much correlated. We've got a very strong 36% there correlation, positive correlation. You can see it does dip every now and again into negative territory, so it's not a constant relationship between the two, so you've got to watch for divergences there. But the recovery from June also was a good recovery for the NASDAQ 100, and that pushed that correlation together. So you can see it's like a lagging risk on assets. So it's just another tool, another guide to show you, variables to look out for. And you can see the more you know, if you're seeing the stock markets all going up and seeing that correlation picking up as well, you know, it's a good chance that the Bitcoin price is following it. So something else for you to think about. So let's get into some longer term price action. We've got here the weekly Heikin-Ashi chart going back to 2019, covering pretty much most of the action. We can see this really nice double top at play there, and then sort of technicals did work out really, you know, taking that price back down to this sort of zone that where we have been playing. It got to the lows actually down in December of last year, sort of just under 17,000, you know, early 16,000s, that little area there. And then it has done a bit of a recovery, and you can see I've put 2 standard deviation regression bands around that low point to where we are today, and it's trading quite nicely within those bands at the low at the moment. So there could be some potential upside to around about 30,000. And then the upside of that is 35,000. You've got another Fibonacci line there, 36,000. You've got the key one there at 28,500 there, 38.2%. But point of control at the moment, the long term, is at 19,700, just here, right on top of another Fibonacci line. The 23.6%, not so key as a Fibonacci line, but still a Fibonacci line. Breaks down from here, you know, we're into horrible territory, I'm afraid, back into those lows. There's that bit of a gap there in the volume, you know, bit of spike there at 9,000. But we're talking worst case scenarios here. What else can we take away from this chart? Well, currently indicators all bearish. This one at the bottom is historical volatility. Just wanted to show you how over time, as well as the volumes decreasing, volatility has also decreased, and it's almost become like a stock index level of volatility, whereas go back a couple of years it was more like maybe a mid-cap stock in terms of volatility levels, around 80-90%, that sort of number. So a lot's changed in Bitcoin over the last year. At the moment, though, in the longer term price action, to me, it looks very quiet, stuck around this 27 to 30,000 price area, not looking too exciting at the moment, but there's enough points movement in the day to be playing those ranges. So let's now have a quick look at the line break chart. 4 bar setup. I use a 2 reversal. Got it on the 1 hour here, so maybe for a bit more shorter term action. You can see if you were following it, you'd have probably got him buying around 26,760 for that upside move. A bit more conservative, you'd be probably getting in about now 27,400 maybe for that move. We've got to wait for the setup to go back. I suggest, you know, if you are bearish, it's going to be around about 26,700 for that move back there. That's a prediction. A bit more conservative, maybe just 26.5 possibly. So line break chart, good for picking the reversals, and because it's not as volatile as it used to be, it's a bit more steady, the line break chart, so a bit more predictable. So another nice one to use. And then into the Renko charts, got a long, well, I'll call it medium term view here, because we go back to March time. We can pull it back a bit more than that, just taking the other low period. But I've focused in on the March low there for the Fibonacci's on there. Got 400 block size, you can see up there. And I suppose the first takeaway to me is just this sideways box of action, all between round it up to 32,000 down to 24,500. I'm just rounding those numbers up. As I said, we've got this price action all in here. But to take it to the bottom, we got the modified DMI that's giving this more of a bearish look. Stochastics picking up as well. So sort of nullify each other at the moment. Neutral. Have got this double bottom pattern picking up here. the same support, which is quite nice if you're talking in terms of rules of technical analysis. As a target, that Fibonacci line looks quite nice at 29,200. In terms of volume, we've got that slip up to that sort of level as well, that arc in the volume. And then after that, it's got to break through those highs and then push towards 35,000. If it fails from here, we've got 38.2%, 24,500, just under that double bottom. And then a lot of volume down here, actually, 22,780, that sort of area. Then it slips again to the point of control, which is way down here, just under 17,000. You can see back over here, a bit of volume over there. So again, it's the setup on the charts there in the short term looking a bit more weak bullish, but overall it's pretty neutral type picture with the long term trend, not too exciting at the moment. We can focus in again, take that down a step into the shorter time setup with a faster block size, 150 we've got here, as you can see there, goes back to about June time, so we can be a bit more precise maybe for the short-term trades that we might want to put on in the market. We'll just go to the bottom. Again, the shorter term looking a bit more bullish there, but again, this morning's action and the last few days and that taking it a bit more negative. Point of control in the shorter term, 25,850 around there. That could be the pullback zone. We've got a lot of price action going on through that area there. In terms of short-term upsides, well, we're going to have to get through this high area, 27,500, then picking off the 61.8% line at 29,000, and then back to those highs at 31,500. Not a lot of volume in between there, so that could move up quite quickly to 29,000 area, and then have a lot slower progress because of all that volume up there, and you can see a lot of sideways action there. Failure at these sort of numbers at the moment. Maybe it's topping out, reversing. Again, it could fall quite quickly to that point of control, like I said, around about 25,800. Under that, we got support at that round number 25,000. Below that, we then go to 23,280 and then 22,350 as next downsides. So in my opinion, looking at that at the moment, it's a neutral picture that I'd be struggling to get excited too much at the moment, other than picking off some short-term price action. Other assets seem more attractive at the moment, but it's a longer-term picture. We've seen, flicking back to that chart, it has been a good year, really. 65%, you take that as a return over any year. So, there is, like I said, great potential there in the Bitcoin price. You just got to be patient and wait for the right moment, stick with that trading plan, execute properly, have all the ducks lined up, as they say. So there you go. That's the latest addition to the weekly live streams. Another market covered, Bitcoin. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, where you think it's heading next. Like to hear from you there. And if you're still with us later today, 1 o'clock, we've got 3 stocks that I'd buy and 3 I'd sell. And that concludes the week's live streams. And then it rotates back again to Monday. And we go through all those different 8 live streams that we produce again. So thanks again for joining me. Good luck with that trading, and I hope to see you again soon. Good night.